Hello, hello, hello. So I just want to quickly go live, guys. I want to talk to you about Bitcoin. Obviously, we see it's dropping below 20K, lots of liquidations, because I think there's a lot of people who had either stop losses or anything around about that level, or equally, the shorts then get brought into play at around that 20K level when it falls just below, because that's a major support. It's now broken. See you later. Let's see where we're going to go for Bitcoin. But this is all around how we kind of got here, because yes, we have the fears about a recession. Yes, we had a 75 basis point hike, which is the highest that we've had, I think, in like 40 years or something like this. It's absolutely insane. So what I want to kind of go through is how did a kind of, standard, should we say, pullback in the markets really affect crypto this badly? So as you can see here, let me just bring this up. I want to go full screen with this. It's very, very important that we go through this quickly. So looking through here, I'm on the hourly bar. Might as well just get rid of that. Bring this on to, let's go for the weekly, get a lot more data in here. So we're at this kind of key level of support that you see around about this area. And then also because we had this here. So it could be that we have a little bit of a bounce off of this. We still don't know as of yet, but currently that looks like a very, very bad candle in my opinion. And then also we can have a look at ETH/USD as well. And we're going to see a very, very similar situation with this here coming back. We're actually below this previous level of like kind of major support. And everyone's thinking now we might end up around about 850, something like this in this region here where we had these levels of support. But kind of how did we get into this? So obviously we all know that we've had Celsius. This is kind of one of the major catalysts. It all started with Luna back about a month or month and a half ago now. And then, there are a couple people who were very, very exposed to the issues. And one of those was Celsius. The second was Three Arrow Capital. And now these are not the only two, but these are two of the biggest ones who are seeing, I guess, the most exposure and also now potential of being liquidated very heavily. In fact, have been, in Three Arrow Capital's case. So what we're seeing now is this a bit of a roundup for the week, is that investors are not willing to bail out Celsius. We actually saw BitBoy Crypto, Ben Armstrong, he's suing Celsius. And then a number of different people were complaining on Twitter and on YouTube around how Celsius are asking you to put more money in order to be able to take money out. But it's currently locked to withdrawals, swaps, and transfers. So if you can't take money out, why are you going to put more money in? So it's absolutely ridiculous. But you can see this here. Celsius took Ethereum deposited, and this is just want to give you an overview as to how we got into this situation, because it's kind of the same for both Celsius and Three Arrows. But Celsius took Ethereum deposited by customers and staked them on the Ethereum beacon chain, which is the proof of stake ETH 2.0 type of that everyone's been talking about. So the Ethereum beacon chain via the liquid staking protocol Lido. Now, it's worth noting, with Lido, you give your Ethereum, you get a staked Ethereum back only once Ethereum 2.0 and the transition to proof of stake has been completed. Okay. Until then, it's locked up. Now, they received stake ETH in return, like I said. The company then deployed these new tokens on other DeFi protocols to generate yield. Think of Curve, for example. Now, staked Ethereum has increasingly become decoupled from Ether, because it's supposed to be one Ethereum equals one staked Ethereum, has become decoupled from Ether amid concerns over delayed merge on Ethereum. Consequently, large holders have been dumping the coin, which then kind of pulls that peg further down. And this continues to drive liquidity for any swaps from Ethereum back to Ether. This means Celsius will find it difficult to sell its large staked Ethereum holdings on the open market because there's just so much supply. Such a situation has served to compound the firm's liquidity crisis. Now, one thing I want to show you is that there is a mass exodus of Celsius, and this is actually live. A couple of minutes ago, I had it up. So looking at this now, it's still going on. Make sure you check this out. If it is that you have any crypto or any Celsius coin on FTX, make sure that you actually take that off, because if you believe in Celsius and you want to kind of keep it, make sure that you take that off, because there's an absolute, just a constant stream of Celsius coming off of the exchange. And look, I'm usually, these are like a couple hours old. Look how much there is. It's just continuous, guys. And it's only going to keep getting more and more over the weekend. So if you do have Celsius on FTX, I recommend you take it off. The same is probably true for if you have it on any exchange, because this is going to worry people who hold it on pretty much every exchange. Now, I do want to kind of go into 3 Arrows now. So 3 Arrows Capital bought 10.9 million locked Luna for 559 million, and now it's worth $670. Ouch. This was about 4 days ago now, sorry. So this is where it all started for 3 Arrows Capital. This was really it didn't exactly start here. It started because they had massive exposure to Luna. But this is where everyone started to kind of like pay attention. And Celsius was very much in the news, but it slowly now emerged that 3 Arrow Capital are massively in trouble. So well-sourced placed sources say 3 Arrows Capital was liquidated for at least 400 million, which is insane. Now, the 3 Arrow Capital portfolio consists of tokens like Aave, Basic Attention, Celsius, FTT, GUSD, Lido, and Link. Currently 166 million. Now, this is a couple of days old, just as a heads up, is now in USDC. So you can assume that's still kind of the same unless they've, just sold everything. But 166 million, obviously it's a stable coin. The second largest 3AC allocation is held in Serum, SRM. As the hedge fund holds 46.3 million in Serum. Let's have a quick look. What is Serum? Oh my monkeys. So over the past month, it's just a very continuous, at least it's in a trend, not the right way, but it's definitely in a trend for sure. So this gives you an idea of what they have left. But this got so bad now. BlockFi are reportedly amongst firms that liquidated 3 Arrows Capital. And I won't go into, everything that each of these mentioned, because we also see another where crypto-linked lending platform FinBlocks has also freezed funds. So that FinBlocks is basically a lending platform very similar to Celsius and also to 3AC, and they have now frozen funds. So this is kind of spreading across the whole industry. And again, just as BlockFi did, FTX, we're seeing Deribit and BitMEX also liquidating 3 Arrows positions over the past week after the crypto hedge fund known as 3AC failed to meet margin calls. Guys, just quickly, margin call is, you give me some money. I say, look, I will take this money, $100. I'll give you 70 back, but I need to make sure there's always like 30% as a buffer. Now, if what you've given me starts to fall down and, becomes less valuable, I'm going to say, look, you're kind of breaking that 30%. I need you to give me more money so we keep that 30% buffer. But if you can't do that, then I just say, look, I'm going to cut your position. So that's what we want to see. And again, another bit of widespread contagion. It's the contagion. It's the fear. It's the spread of this worry. That's really what's causing an issue. Babel Finance suspends withdrawals, again, citing unusual liquidity pressures. This is getting around everywhere, guys. This is what we've seen, especially more towards the end of this week. Hence why I wanted to wait till Saturday to go through this, because now we're seeing so many different companies. And if, to be honest, if I have money in a staking platform, which I don't currently, it seems to be a good idea. I would personally look at trying to take that out, just because it's a very clear trend, that we're seeing people actually not being either the companies just stopping you withdrawing, transferring, or swapping your money, or then just going straight under and not having any liquidity to be able to pay you back. And again, just want to show you, we'll get into a little bit about how this all happened, but the final kind of nail in the coffin is that 3 Arrows is dumping more of its staked ETH. Bear in mind, it's dumping a coin that there's already too much supply of, that is not pegged to Ethereum. And this is just going to be so bad for the secondary market. But early on Thursday, 3AC dumped 5,500 staked Ethereum from one of its wallets. There was still 14,000 left in the wallet following that transaction. However, the crypto hedge fund swapped the staked Ethereum balance in this wallet later in the day. And you can go through and obviously we can have a look at these in more detail if we want to find out. But I was keeping this very top level, guys. And you know, Suzu hasn't really done too much. Just want to show you this. He issued this, I think, in the middle of the week, saying that we're discussing with relevant stakeholders. We remain committed to getting the company out of this issue. You know, give it up, mate. I think it's not great. It's really not great. And just to, you know, again, to emphasize the point, 3AC, sizable holdings, Bitcoin, Solana, Kusama, Avalanche, and Polkadot. June analytics showed that 3AC's portfolio of about 372 million has dropped to about 139 in the past 24 hours. Sorry, mate. Let's get a quick overview as to how this happened, though. So this I thought was relatively good. Just going to go through these bullet points, and then we're going to call it there, guys. You know, there's too much contagion at the moment, and you know, this is teaching us a lesson to really just kind of stay out of these liquid platforms. Or sorry, not these liquid platforms. They are the opposite of liquid, hence why you can't get your money out. To these, should we say, lending platforms, because there's so much FUD. And if you think about a traditional investor, when Bear Stearns went under, and we started to see loads of big banks in 2007, 2008 start to feel the pressure and then finally go under, that we saw in 2008, that's where everyone got super scared. Now, but that was in a regulated environment, and the government had to bail them out. So people got their money back. Well, some of them. The banks did anyway, maybe not the people. But this is not. People are not going to get their money back. So think about the confidence, that knock-on confidence going to have in crypto to investors. But anyway, how did we get into this situation for 3AC? So they revealed that they had 245 million of Ethereum deposited with the Aave protocol. The corporate used these deposits to borrow 189 million in USDC and USDT, thereby placing their mortgage to worth ratio at 77%. As a result of liquidity of those tokens, as they had been locked, so, you know, the illiquidity, of those tokens as they had been locked, 3AC was unable so as to add collateral or repay debt. So, you know, if this goes down in value, you know, this 245 million, they said, well, look, you know, we need, if this becomes equal to, I don't know, let's say it drops down, it becomes worth 189 million. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, the Aave protocol will be like, hang on a sec. No, we can't have a 1-to-1 ratio. We need you to supply more of this Ethereum. Well, I can't because it's all locked up. It's locked up. You know, I've taken this and then I've staked it. So it's locked. I can't repay and I can't have collateral. So this resulted in serious liquidation cascade because the market started crashing down. This overuse of leverage left 3AC uncovered. Issues went from unhealthy to worse as reviews revealed that 3AC was leverage lengthy in every single place. This resulted in a serious spike of margin calls. The unhealthy factor was that 3AC determined to ghost them as a substitute of addressing them, which is basically they just didn't care. They said, okay, well, margin call. Okay, we'll see you later. Not going to answer that one. Because the liquidity points additional worsened, 3AC bought over 60,000 staked ETH. Suzu, founder of 3 Arrows, stated that they're totally dedicated to working it out and are at present in talks with relevant events. You know, I just think it's not enough, guys. And I think that's partly what's leading to, one, this massive distrust in the space, but two, what's kind of brought us now down to this level where, you know, I will say a lot of the selling pressure would have come from yesterday, Friday. There's a lot of selling pressure as the big Wall Street bankers, they decide to, you know, close their positions, go home for the weekend, come back on Monday and open them up. But, you know, we're seeing such a high level of fear and, you know, fear in the market. I think the fear and greed index got to its lowest point. But we're seeing this. I think we're going to keep seeing stop losses being hunted. I think we're going to see shorts kind of kicking in and longs being liquidated. And so this is why I think we're probably going to keep coming down. Ethereum, you know, follow us for our price targets, but I reckon immediately we're looking at that kind of 900 level. And then on Bitcoin, you know, we've spoken about it before, I reckon 18,000, then we're going to kind of potentially come down. Might be a wick, might not, but make sure you watch our video later on to kind of find out exactly where we have our price targets. I'm going to quickly just go through the comments because I haven't had a look. Hello, everybody. Is Celsius next? I believe, I do believe they are. I know that they want to help. I genuinely think that they are making an effort to do something to try and help. But the question is, are they going to be able to be doing enough? And is there confidence in there? Let me know down in the comments just quickly, do you believe that Celsius are able to come back from this? Because I think a large part of their whole business model is when they open up the withdrawals, is everybody just going to quickly take their money out? I personally, I would, but that's a personal opinion. I'm not, kind of going to put that on anybody else. But given everything that's happened, the amount of companies that have liquidated, these lenders, and just the whole FUD that's around them, whether it's true or not, that still puts a lot of fear in me as an investor, especially in a time where, I see a little bit more downside to crypto, and then I see a bit of accumulation. Bullish, very, very bullish in the long term. I'm extremely bullish. But the thing is, I have to think about myself. Everyone has to pay bills. Everyone needs cash. And, we can't really afford to lose a lot of money because we put it in a lending platform that, is now illiquid and insolvent. Concerning candles, absolutely. We are done, guys. Portfolio. There's a lot of fun in this chat here. I can't disagree with you. I can't deny it either. Do you think Binance is going to retain funds? No, I mean, look, Binance. No, I don't think so. If a big exchange does go under, they are allowed. Look through the risk disclosures. I will quickly just show you this. So if we go to, I did this on my other chat. Idiot. You guys have got me typing too quickly. I bloody spelled Celsius wrong. Celsius here. So if you do look through here, and I recommend you do this both on your exchanges and any lending platforms that you have. So they say, where are they? Hey, we're not a bank. We're not covered by FDIC or SIPC. Read our, risk disclosure. Risk disclosure. And then I believe it's on page 5, second to the bottom. Page 5, not this one, or is it paragraph? Yeah, section 5. However, by engaging with Celsius, you acknowledge that there is a risk that Celsius may become unable to repay its obligations to its creditors, which, you acknowledge there is a risk that they will not be able to repay, i.e. if, I don't know, what would happen? Major FUD, potential recession, DeFi worry, staked Ethereum becoming unpegged, a big crypto hedge fund becoming illiquid and shutting down, 3 Arrows Capital, and us locking all withdrawals so that you don't take all your money out. But when we do open them, you might take your money out. So we're going to stop all of that. So if those things happen, there might be a risk that we're unable to pay our obligations. Sorry, guys, it kind of looks like that's exactly what's happened. In which case, your digital assets may be lost in whole or in part, or it could just be a part. It's okay. Don't worry about that. It's only in part. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I was just, okay. I want to bring that full screen. But yeah, read through it, guys. You have to see this. Start of another big dump where we just want to, I've lost it now. Here we go. 57 people to smash the like buttons. Here we go. Mami Satoshi, thank you very much. I'm going to show that. Everybody follow by Mami Satoshi's example. The market makers are chasing for bad positioning. Big players think MicroStrategy and Celsius on this. Yeah, I think I heard that there's around 500 million in MicroStrategy's war chest that they can deploy to buy more Bitcoin. So I think that they're going to be okay. They might actually take this opportunity to reduce the average price of the Bitcoin that they buy. But I think Michael Saylor is so much of a diamond hand that, he said it's either going to 0 or it's going to 1 million. And I don't think there's any chance of him capitulating. And even if, Bitcoin does go to 0, he still has a functioning business. So I think they'll probably be okay. Did you say? Oh, Tether, yeah, Tether depegs. Guys, if Tether depegs, we're done. I think we're in a very, very bad place for a very long time. It's worrying because they just don't want to be, previously, I'm not saying now, they haven't wanted to be audited. They haven't wanted to have anybody, look into them too much. They've even had the office of New York I believe there was some kind of like criminal allegation they had against them, and the founders have very sketchy backgrounds. But if Tether does, obviously as the largest stablecoin, that is going to really, really mess up the markets. But there are alternatives now. I saw like the DAO token is, I think, like 11th in terms of market cap, the stablecoin, which is really good. So it's just an alternative, and I think these stablecoins are going to really help, build up the stability of this space. Bitcoin will go pre-pandemic levels. Let's have a look at that. Let me just check that out then. Pre-pandemic levels, we were at, and I'll show you guys the exact price. Here we go, BTC, USD, bomb. Let's have a look. Pre-pandemic levels. Oh, that's quite. I mean, I hope not. Please don't say that. that's really not ideal. I mean, it depends. If you say pre-pandemic, technically we're here, but no, I know what you mean here. So pandemic, obviously, this was this massive drop here, and we all thought that was like game over, didn't we? We thought, oh my god, the world's going to end. But that's, I guess, because like the wider stock market sold off 60%. That is pretty dire, to be fair. But even still, look, guys, we've been through many bear markets before. I remember when you're seeing on normal news stories, back in 2017, when Bitcoin kind of fell down, it was down at like 6,000. Everyone was like, oh my god, what a scam that was. And then I do remember it falling to 3,000. And although I had like a few positions here that I quite liked, but I was holding them very long term, still have them. When it got down to here, I was like, okay, well, maybe that was a mistake. But then obviously you start learning more about it and you realize the community, like, okay, actually that's amazing. But yeah, I remember the sentiment down here. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that the sentiment, it always is the lowest down here. The fear and greed index, everything is so bad, but you get up to those levels. And that's really why we're here, to be honest, and why we keep going ahead. So Celsius is probably done. Confidence shatters. Yeah, Satoshi Stacker, absolutely, 100% agree with you there. And then that is it, because the part of the reason why they've got their flying wheel, as they call it, which is that they have more people buy, which means they can pump up the price of Celsius, which means they can do more marketing, which means more people buy, and then you have that circle. And they kind of need this really to be able to pay for the really high interest rates that they were offering people, to stake their coins. And as soon as you don't have that, you're in a lot of trouble. I know that's how a pyramid scheme works, or a Ponzi scheme, I should say, not a pyramid. I know that's how a Ponzi scheme works. I'm not going to say that it is a Ponzi scheme. I don't think it is, because there is genuine value and they are genuinely doing stuff. But there's just so many features that really have kind of messed it up. It's a weekend stop hunt low to then move up the rest of the week. Market maker games. I do agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. A2B, yeah, 100%. Leverage traders probably gone. Should I sell at a loss? Rohit, look, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm never going to give you financial advice. What I will say is, for me personally, I don't need the money immediately. I'm not like, oh, I have to pay my bills tomorrow, and so I need to take the money out, which I think is the best way. Never risk any money that you can't afford to lose. So I would say that is the golden rule of crypto. But personally, I'm not selling at a loss. I'm at a loss in some of my positions, but because I believe in it long term, I'm happy to wait for it to go up. And that's my personal opinion as to what I'm doing. What happens when everyone takes out all coins from exchanges? Exchanges can not survive. I don't think that we're going to have everyone taking coins out of exchanges, because if you have coins, there's no point in having coins if you can't sell the coins. So it essentially, yes, there would be no crypto market, but I really don't think that's going to be the case because of supply and demand. As coins come out of an exchange, the price of this goes up because there's less supply, and presumably. And there's still going to be some demand from crypto investors. So then we're going to see, the price go up, and then people put their coins onto exchange so that they can sell them to the guy who's happy to pay a higher price. So that's I think most of the, that is most of the comments. Cheap Bitcoin to buy, more or low Bitcoin, so big trouble. How do you want to see it? Is there trust it will become really good? Are they busy making Bitcoin ETF? I think I think Bitcoin ETF is probably not coming. Not right now, anyway. Definitely. Buy only when it's clearly bottomed out, including the Nasdaq. That is very true. But there's an argument here, William Wallace, for that's a very popular name actually. I feel like that's you're a celebrity, but I feel like there's a argument for the Nasdaq and Bitcoin to be less correlated now, which is kind of what we're seeing, that decoupling, because the Nasdaq kind of has held up well, whereas Bitcoin is just on that continuous nosedive. How much cash do you have comparative to your crypto portfolio? I mean, this is very different for each person. Can't really answer that, to be honest. And there's no better. There's no ideal amount. I think you should always have some cash, especially when you're in a bear market, because when you do bottom out, you want to have something to be able to jump up, should we say. Short arbitrages keep exceeding minimum range of 2 days. Buy the dips, take it as a pension fund, and just hold. Mami Satoshi, I'm actually quite inclined to agree with you there. One thing I do want to say is just personally my opinion, if you guys are interested, is in the future, I expect Bitcoin dominance to fall. Let me just kind of put this on a Bitcoin dominance. Here we go. So let's just break this out. So we all know, back in the day when Satoshi Nakamoto was born over here, I know he wasn't born then. I know he's not a real person. And I know Bitcoin was made before then. But back in the day, in the days of the OG Bitcoin holders, which I am not, unfortunately. I only got in at like the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, which is kind of annoying. But anyway, so when we're looking at this, so the dominance is kind of falling down. This is when altcoins started to come up. You see Ethereum, you see all these different coins. They become very, very popular. And this is the bull run. So when you see a bull run, you see basically the whole market really increase in price. And because of that, you've got one crypto against the whole market, i.e. Bitcoin. So the dominance of Bitcoin falls down as the wider market swells in value. And then, there's a massive crash. All the altcoins fall much harder than Bitcoin does because it's seen as the most stable. So therefore the dominance goes up again. But I expect this to be kind of a continuing trend that we're seeing here. And this was during the summer of, where we had Solana jumping up, from like $25 to $250 in a couple of months. When we see like Decentralized, Sandbox, everyone was kind of excited about the wider crypto market and also NFTs on Solana, NFTs on Ethereum. And so this is what I think we're going to continue seeing is, in the future, Bitcoin dominance, in my opinion, I could be wrong. I think Bitcoin dominance will be slightly lower, but you're going to have a lot of different coins that have genuine real value. And I don't know if Bitcoin is always going to be the most valuable via market cap or, in judgment of market cap, because I think we're going to have some coins that have real use. Now, I don't think Bitcoin is the current solution. Maybe if you use the Lightning Network or it gets widely adopted, but for now, there are faster, there are cheaper, there are more secure ways for transferring money from one party to another. But I do think it serves a purpose as like kind of a value holder, so very much like gold. And I think that is where we're going to see Bitcoin kind of take its stride and be identified as that. But in terms of, integrating crypto into our daily life, guys, I'm expecting us to have coins that are used for contracts in real estate. You could kind of do away with some lawyers. You could just write a contract and everything's automatically done via smart contracts. You can have, everything kind of built on blockchain using Web3, etc. So there are going to be some use cases that actually become very, very, very useful. So I'm personally thinking that I view the altcoins as like the companies of the new economy, and Bitcoin very much as gold. So everyone needs gold. Everyone sees it as being very safe. But at the end of the day, I think that, the real getting crypto into everybody's hands and daily lives is going to come from examples such as Cardano, where they're I think it was 5,000 people. They were tracking the educational records based on the blockchain for Ethiopia, I believe it was, a network of universities there. And that's, I think, going to be the real use case. And that's how Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, sorry, the general crypto market is going to be in everybody's world. So there you go. McDonald's is hiring. Send me an application, please, Samfar. My portfolio is down massively, and I am about to go bankrupt. So send me that application. That'd be great. Maybe you get a referral fee. We can spend that and maybe buy a whole Bitcoin if it falls far enough. Make sure you have cash. Absolutely. 95 coins going to zero. I do think so. One thing I like about this is I think a lot of the meme coins and some of the, the shit coins are going to pretty much collapse. And I think, people who love, like these little, what are they, like Elon coins and, Elon Doge and all this stuff. I just think there's not going to be a market for that. And I think rightly so, because that's where most of the pump and dumps are. That's where all the scams are. So the more we can get away from that, I think the absolute better. There we go, really. So, I would say, 18,300 target. I think it is a target. I think we might wick below. In fact, I feel as though we'll probably wick below that. Not necessarily close on the higher time frames, but I think wick definitely. Thank you guys for watching. That was everything. It's turned out much longer than what I anticipated, but I love the Q&A. So guys, make sure that you kind of line up a series of questions. If you have any, we'll be on a bit later on. And also then, tomorrow, next week, we want to make sure that you have any questions, bring them to us and we'll make sure to answer them. So thank you very much, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. And thank you for watching. All the best, trade safe, use a stop loss, and